I think like this is truly like the best Valorant team ever.
I mean, Fnatic just has like so much depth in the roster.
Damn, this team is sickening.
Maybe kind of excited to meet like the new Fnatic because like I feel like they are the best team right now in the world.
Fnatic's just gonna sweep all the events this year.
We want to play Fnatic. That's like the only team we want to fight.
Fnatic's dynasty starts today.
Everyone thought Fnatic was a super team as soon as their new roster was announced. And they proved everyone right when they pulled off an insane comeback to win lock-in and then dominated EG 3-0 at Masters to become Valorant's first back-to-back champs. When VCT Champions rolled around, Fnatic were the team to beat, and they continued to show very dominating performances throughout the group stages. But absolutely everybody was shocked when they lost 0-2 to Loud in their first playoff match. Although Loud won the Americas title, they had looked shaky since Masters, where they didn't win a single playoff map. Loud barely even made the playoffs at Champs, and there were a lot of rumors of the team practicing without Aspas, who was thought to be unhappy with the team.
First of all, I want to know why Aspas is not here with you guys.
Questões de saúde, né? A gente não pode falar muito sobre.
This gave no indication that they would be the ones to take down Fnatic not once, but twice, and knock them out of the tournament. By no means is a 4th place finish a failure, but what happened to this behemoth of a team in the final hour? And why were Loud the ones to take them out? Was Loud just their kryptonite, or did teams just finally figure out how to beat them? In this video, we're going to unravel the truth behind Fnatic's downfall. First, I want to emphasize how hard it really is to stay at the top at any esport in 2023. I honestly believe dynasties were a thing of the past before esports was legitimate. Now there are thousands of young talents across the world gunning for a chance to play at the top, and we saw one of those talents blossom this year on EG. When you're the best team in the world, you need to not only maintain your extremely high level, but be constantly innovating, since absolutely everyone in the world has their eyes on you. Your strats are the ones being studied and copied. Your rounds are the ones being played over and over by every team in the world. On top of that, we're seeing huge Valorant patches multiple times throughout the year. The chamber nerfs turned players who were previously unkillable demons back to human beings. The map pool changes multiple times throughout the year, and when maps return, they're almost completely different from before. And finally, the VCT schedule is brutal for a team that not only attends every single event, but also plays the maximum number of matches possible since they're appearing in every final. All these things combined makes it very hard for any dynasties in Valorant, but still, Fnatic managed to stay at the top for the vast majority of the year. Let's look at exactly what made them so dominant to begin with, starting with their attack side. Fnatic has a very unique attack side when compared to other top teams in the world. Teams like PaperX and DRX are known to play fast and aggressive, but Fnatic is almost the complete opposite. Fnatic prefer to avoid forced executes and instead start rounds split up in slower defaults. Let's first take a look at this attack side pistol round against EG on Lotus. Fnatic work in a 3-2 setup to ensure that they have control of either mound or a main, depending on where EG might be aggressive. But EG doesn't fight for any part of the map, and this gives Fnatic a lot of map control. Now Fnatic have so many options and choose to work up A main together. They slowly work up A, but Demon 1 takes a peek for info, which catches Chronicle. All this time, Boaster had been lurking at B, and once he's in position, Fnatic pivot B through Broken, which avoids the stack on A. This slow play has the power to give Fnatic full reign of the entire map, and once in that position, defenders are either going to be spread too thin, or forced into gamble stacks like EG did this round. With the map control, Fnatic can deduce where traps are laid and avoid them. But because Chronicle gets caught by this solo peek from Demon 1, Fnatic don't have enough players to actually win out this round, but you can see how much they can do with this map control. Remember this peek from Demon 1 as it will be important later on. Here's another clip from Fnatic against PaperX on Bind. We're going to see a completely different response from PaperX compared to what EG did. Again, Fnatic starts spread out and passive at the start of the round. PaperX aggressively push down short, but don't catch anyone. This prompts Fnatic to speed up to the other side of the map. Fnatic specifically avoid pushing through hookah so they don't get trapped by a TP play. Instead, they go up long as 5 and are able to find a timing to overwhelm the solo B player and take the site. Now, we just saw a gamble stack from EG and an immediate push from PRX. What happens when you play more passively? Here's another pistol round clip against Billy Gaming on Haven. Fnatic start with a brick smoke to deny info on A and place a deep alarm bot to catch any pushes from BLG. Simultaneously, Fnatic's strong side work their way up C long, while BLG take no initiative to gain info. BLG also don't really commit to stacking anywhere. Originally, their setup is spread out, but it kind of looks like a mid stack. However, as soon as C is pressured, Omen rotates and Breach peeks mid to lose a 1v1 to Alpha. These clips really show that Fnatic's default style works, and works well, against a lot of different defensive setups. Whether you stack a site, push early, or play a passive setup, Fnatic's defaults have clear options to punish them all. Everything from Fnatic's buys to their comps contribute to making this attack side work effectively. What do I mean by this? Well, do you guys remember the half shield strat that Fnatic popularized? Half shield Vandal buys favor gunfights that are longer and drawn out, rather than chaotic site rushes which involve utility and spraying. When Fnatic spread out on a slow default, they get more opportunities to take long-range gunfights, which means their half armor gains more value. Furthermore, Fnatic only have one duelist player, so their comps are always going to have more info gathering and info denying capabilities, rather than explosive rushes from double duelist comps. This is Fnatic's preferred attack style, but you will still see them forcing into sites, especially when they have ults, as every good team needs some variety. Fnatic's defense sides are also well thought out, often involving one main play to control info and one main trap play. In this clip against EG on Split, their starting game plan was to control info in B main while setting up trap plays in mid. On pistol round, Boaster immediately smokes B main, which discourages any fast pushes, while they set up a trap in mid using the one-way cam to tell exactly when to throw utility. Note that one site is usually given up for retake to avoid being spread too thin. They do a similar setup on their gun round to control info in B main with the Omen Smoke and Sky Flash, while setting up for another trap in mid. Alpha plays retake on A in the setup too. Their defensive theory just works on any map they play, and we can see the same system in effect against Foot on Haven. In this round, Durka pushes up short A for info. The rest of Fnatic are set up to trap and fight mid, while Alpha plays a full retake setup on C. Fnatic find pretty good opportunities in mid this round because of their setup. Defensive side also allows individual skill to shine, and Fnatic have a lot of that to show off, so even without these prepared setups, Fnatic are going to be very hard to deal with. When we look at Fnatic's playstyle, it's easy to see why they dominated most of the year, but there is always a downside to every playstyle and strategy. Now let's talk about the weaknesses of Fnatic's playstyle, starting with their attack side. We know Fnatic only have one duelist player to take space, which means their forced executes are going to be weaker on certain maps. On maps like Split where forced executes are strong, which is why double duelist became meta on this map, Fnatic very clearly struggle with rushes. In this clip against DRX, they go for an immediate rush out of B main on pistol. You can see how bad the spacing is for them, as Durka is entering alone before everyone else and has to fight for so long before his team can help. They need to rely on Alpha to try and play the second entry, but this is just way slower than having a Jet. Here's another clip against EG, where Fnatic try an A execute early on in the round. Durka flies up Heaven all by himself and should have easily died here, but Ethan just whiffs. Spacing is going to be an obvious issue during forced executes, and we can see in this next clip how Fnatic have tried to mend the issue. In another round against DRX, Boaster TPs onto site into their own Cypher cage to entry like a Jet. Then, the Flash and Stun come in to support him as he peeks out for a free kill. Forced executes are simply harder to pull off for Fnatic with their roles, but I want to suggest that Fnatic as a team are fundamentally bad at running out together. In the first clip that I showed, Alpha is trying to finesse a bunch of angles with his cages. Honestly, Fnatic just needed the rest of the team swinging fast and pathing aggressively behind Durka with their guns out to win this fight. Although both teams that made grand finals at Champs have extremely strong double duelist players, EG was still pretty successful with solo duelist on other maps. Fnatic are just not very comfortable forcing executes, but it's a tool that they absolutely need to complete their attack sides alongside their strong defaults. But Fnatic's defaults are not perfect either. Remember this clip on Lotus where Demon 1 peeks as Fnatic are walking up A and then he kills Chronicle? This was objectively not a great peek, but it gives us a hint on how to disrupt Fnatic's slow defaults. Fnatic are looking out for loud aggressive pushes and can easily punish overly passive setups, but defensive teams that maintain some control and then fight back in the mid round can catch Fnatic split up and in bad positions. In Fnatic's 1-13 loss against DRX on Bind, we see this happen multiple times throughout the map. On pistol round, Fnatic starts spread out as you'd expect, and DRX don't go for any fast aggressive pushes, but don't give any free peeks to Fnatic. They play to stall out the round by cycling between Brimstone and Viper utility, but continue to gather some information. Durka is spotted in hookah and DRX immediately sets up a play to re-clear hookah by sky flashing through their own Viper wall. Durka is caught all alone with nobody to help him. Fnatic are too spread out to react off this death, and Boaster also dies alone walking down short, which now makes the round unwinnable. This next round also plays out in the exact same way, as DRX start out by stalling the round with utility. Late into the round, Stax and Zest flash into Octagon and catch Fnatic off guard as they're still walking up. In this game, DRX very clearly exposed Fnatic's weaknesses in their default, and this is exactly the type of game where they need forced executes to work. But let's look at Fnatic's forced execute in round 4, where they work up short A with the Viper utility. Durka jumps up top while the rest of Fnatic play it out slowly. He gets an opening kill onto Buzz, but then suddenly DRX already have control of U-Haul, and he's the first one to contest it when he was the first one onto site. Nobody else on Fnatic did much to take any space. Although DRX lost the next 2 games in this series, they still exposed Fnatic's weaknesses on Bind for the world to see. But what about Fnatic's ironclad defense? For the most part, Fnatic's defensive style allows their comp and players to shine, but there's just one part of it that consistently puts them in tough situations. Fnatic has a bad tendency to fall back to retakes, and this is the main thing that punishes them on defense. On pistol round against EG, Fnatic set up a trap for B main, with this Cam spotting for the timing to breach stun and raise nade. On the other side of the map, Fnatic commit to retaking A, and EG decided to rush A this round, putting Fnatic in a losing position immediately. Now the decision to play retake isn't the bad part, but their trap was way too passive and did not give them any information. Boostio should have been found in B main here, but instead he's able to freely work up on the flank. When we saw Fnatic play retake successfully in this Haven clip against Foots, they were ready and aggressive in mid. This ensures that they can clear out lurkers and that they have flank potential to increase retake chances. In situations like this round against Team Liquid, Fnatic are just falling back to a retake without being prepared to be aggressive elsewhere. They choose to retake C because they have Killjoy ult, but they aren't prepared to fight aggressively for mid. As a result, they don't have enough control and their Killjoy ult gets contested from Garage, causing them to lose the round. Still, Fnatic's defensive theory is strong when played properly, and it's hard for teams to actually punish their attack side. But Loud's playstyle proved to be perfect for dealing with Fnatic. Other than Fnatic, Loud are the only team that placed in the top 4 who have one duelist player. But unlike Fnatic, Loud's forced executes are actually quite scary because they all take part in creation of space. Watch this pistol round on Ascent where Loud run a B split through mid. They aggressively fight into defender spawn from Market before entering B. Then the rest of Loud take their time to set up another fight in defender spawn while Alpha is still stuck backside. Everyone on Loud takes initiative to create space when needed, and this is bad news for Fnatic, who are timid for control and have a tendency to play retake. Watch this round where Fnatic play retake A with Killjoy ult. Doesn't this round look familiar? This is the round I showed earlier on Haven against Team Liquid. Fnatic play retake on C but get their Killjoy ult denied because they don't have any mid control and get contested from Garage. Now the same exact situation happens on Ascent against Loud. There's no pressure mid to fight for Cat, so Loud have free reign and they understand perfectly that they need to push into Tree to deny the retake. Control of Tree breaks apart Fnatic's retake setup and Loud are able to close out the round, despite being in a 4v5. And we see this happen over and over again for them across different maps. This clip is from Pistol Round on Lotus. Loud on attack are completely given A site and allowed to freely plant anywhere they want. Fnatic is immediately in a 5v5 retake, even though there were actually 2 players close enough to fight. Fnatic should know that control of A main is the key to a strong retake on A Lotus, but no one is flanking and Alpha is alone in A link. Les makes a good solo play on Alpha as he reloads, and it's just another example of how everybody on Loud knows how to take space when needed. Here's one final example of this pattern from their rematch on Split. This is from Loud's bonus round, so it's a very important swing round in the game. Loud have already lost Aspas to a solo fight against Durka in B Heaven, so the round is 4v5 for Loud. Fnatic keep 3 players stacked on B for 40 more seconds while no more information is gained, while Loud are again given all of A site to walk onto. This time it's Kawanzin who realizes that his team needs space, and he's the one with the timing, so he flashes into the screen smoke right as his team's Killjoy Molly fades, and he gets a very important kill. Then Tuiz and Les double peek into Heaven for another kill onto Boaster. When Tuiz gets dropped by Durka, Les realizes they already did enough and should play the bomb now. This was a great choice as he's left last alive and clutches out the round. Now these clips really make it clear how Loud will never give up any angles for free, and all 5 members on Loud are always looking for opportunities to take back space when needed. This is a slower, retake heavy team's nightmare. They are Fnatic's Kryptonite. Loud are assertive for control and will take what they need, but this doesn't necessarily mean that they are a team like Paper Rex who want to push into your spawn. This is a very important distinction as we move on to how Loud's defense matches up against Fnatic's slow defaults on attack. Paper Rex and even a team like DRX will look for smothering aggression at the start of rounds. Even when DRX 13-1'd Fnatic, they sometimes put themselves in bad spots at the start of rounds when they went for these types of aggressive plays. But Loud make a lot of plays on defense in the mid-round, just like we talked about DRX doing well against Fnatic on Bind. Watch this pistol round on Split, where Fnatic are trying to creep up the entire map again. They work up mid and cross into vents to start working toward A. But Kawanzin spots Fnatic's feet and falls back to call for a breach stun, which helps set up a beautiful round-winning play. This interaction can only happen because Fnatic are slow walking and Loud don't want to give up anything. Loud know how to find the small moments of opportunity during Fnatic's slow defaults. And remember how Fnatic's forced executes were very disjointed? Loud is a team that won't give anything for free, so this is especially punishing against them. I want to leave off on this final round, which I think really sums up this matchup. This clip is from their rematch, and it's Loud's bonus round on Split, so Fnatic have a gun advantage. Fnatic start with a fake lurk setup in B main using breach stun and a faked Omen TP. But Loud are set up specifically to counter it with a 4-man trap in B main. Loud push into B main and immediately get the information that the TP was fake. Now that Fnatic know Loud are stacked toward B, they start working up A, but waste a little bit of time going up ramp first. Then they get stalled by a Killjoy Molly and continue to take their time to clear the site, all while Loud are sprinting back to A. Finally, Leo starts to plant the bomb. And let's just take a look at both teams' positions. Chronicle has a lot of breach util, but he's playing passively in A main. They already have a cam and trip for flank, but Boaster is watching deep into their spawn with a smoke and paranoia up. Loud are just 4-man stacked in screens and ready to run out. Before Leo can finish planting the bomb, Loud are already flooding site with utility and retaking. The 3 players on site are completely overwhelmed and Fnatic lose their chance to get back into this game. Fnatic are caught worrying about problems that aren't there, while Loud creates problems and challenges teams to handle them. This may throw certain rounds for Loud, like this 1v4 against Paper Rex, who absolutely loved those challenges. But against Fnatic, this was the perfect storm, and Loud finally got their revenge. Thanks for watching. Check out my socials down below and consider supporting me as a YouTube member as it helps me out a lot.